right, good morning and welcome back to another lesson. So hopefully on Thursday you already practiced this with us, but remember we want to review if we are labeling our opposite side, our adjacent side, and our hypotenuse. So remember we're going to identify those as either O, A, or H. So the easiest one to find in my opinion is always your hypotenuse. It's always across from the right angle. So here's your hypotenuse. Now, we are concerned with how this relates to angle x. So adjacent to angle x has to be touching angle x. It's part of angle x. Well, this one's already taken up because that's h, so it has to be right here. This is our A. Meanwhile, the opposite side, the O, would be over there. Okay, now on number 2, same thing will apply. Here is angle x. Okay, so h is across from the right angle. The right angle's there, so across from that is our H. Now, O is opposite of angle x, and A is adjacent to angle x. On number 3, here is our hypotenuse, opposite and adjacent. And finally, number 4, if I were you, pause it and try it on your own. All right, hypotenuse, and now opposite and adjacent. Okay, so if you can't consistently find those, please let me know because we need to understand how to find OA and H, or else this is going to be very difficult in these next couple days. So today we are going to use our calculators to help us approximate some values. On Thursday we found those ratios. Today we're going to use our calculator. So the calculator I want you to use is this Desmos calculator. It's a scientific calculator. You can, if you have this pulled up on Cami, if you change to the arrow and then click on it, it will pop up for you. Okay, the other option is you can just type in your bar, desmos.com/scientific. It'll pop up. And finally, the other option, in It's Learning, go to Resources. If you go to today's date, so Chapter 8, you scroll down here to 3.1, and this first one in there, Scientific Calculator, click that link. And it might take a second to load, but when it pops up, if you open it, as you can see, it's the same one. Now, once you get that taken care of, once you get that loaded, if I were you, I would bookmark this, okay? So to do that, on your Chromebook, just go up here, hit the 3 dots, come down to bookmarks, come over, bookmark this tab. Now make sure this says bookmark bar, if not, change it. And then maybe label that Desmos Scientific Calculator works. I'm just going to delete the Desmos part of mine and just say Scientific Calculator so I know where I have that. And then I'll always have easy access to it whenever I need it. I click it and it loads. Now some of you might have access to this calculator. And if you do, that's fine. You can use it. However, it's important that you change it into degree mode every single time. And that's a little difficult. So to do that, you would go to Mode. You'd have to come down 3 spots to degrees, go over and hit enter, and then hit clear. Now you're in degree mode. If that doesn't make sense, I recommend the easier method. Just use this same calculator we're using. Okay, so let me pull this over to the side now so you guys can see both my calculator over here and my work. So I'm going to close my picture, and here's our calculator. Now notice we want it in degrees because it says sine of 30 degrees. If this, it will always open in degrees, but if you ever accidentally click that, it switches to RAD, which stands for radians. We don't want that. It should always be in degrees. But the good news, once again, is anytime you click it, it'll open up into degree mode. Okay? So, right here, sine of 30. All you have to do is either hit this button, sine of 30, close it, and hit enter. And we'll see that it's 0.5. Now notice in our directions it says to approximate to the 4 decimal places. Now this one's 0.5, so that's all we have to do. It doesn't keep going. Okay, now for the next one, cosine of 18. Let me show you. There's 2 ways you can do it. You can either hit cosine 18 and then close it and hit this enter button over here. Or if you want, just type it. You don't even have to. My mouse is up here to the top right. Just type it, COS, open your parenthesis, 18. I close it, I hit enter, and as you can see, I get the exact same thing there. Okay, so This one to 4 decimal places would be 0.95. Oops, that's not a good 5. So 0.95, and then it's going to be 1, 1. Now, some of you might be wondering, why is it 1, 1? Because it says 1, 0. But if you look here, 1, 0, 5. The next one is 5 or greater, so we round up 0.9511. All right, so tangent of 72. So once again, you can either hit tangent or type it in, tangent 72, close the parenthesis, hit enter, and this is 3.0777 by the time we round up. It's a 6 right now, but that 8 causes us to round up. And the final one, sine of 48. We hit enter, and we get 0.74, 431. All right, and we are done. Now we are going to use these to help us solve some problems. SOHCAHTOA here. So remember yesterday, SOHCAHTOA, SOHCAHTOA. All right, hear that chant. Now, once again, SOHCAHTOA, I've put it on here several times. The reason it's helpful, though, some of you might find it easier to write it in this way. Sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse. Cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. TOA, tangent, is the opposite over adjacent. Now, to solve this, we once again are going to set up a ratio, and our ratio will be determined which of these, either sine, cosine, and tangent, we will use, depends on which sides we have. So right here, angle 37 degrees, that's what we're concerned with. We're going to label these two sides. Now 12 here, that is the hypotenuse, and x, that is our adjacent side. So if we think about it, A and H, we look up here at our chart, that's going to be cosine. So what I want to do is I write cosine of 37, and I'll put that over 1. We're going to set that equal to A over H. So x over 12, because our H is 12. We cross multiply. 1 times x is x. X will equal 12 times the cosine of 37. Now, we want to write what x equals. Also, I forgot to say how far to round, so let's go ahead and round to 2 places. So 2 decimals. Now we go to our calculator. So let's see, I lost mine. Let me drag this back over. Okay, so 12. So I do 12 times the cosine of 37. And I hit enter, and as you can see, I get 9.58. That would be the length of x. Okay, we rounded it to 2 places. That is the length of this side. Now we want to go ahead on to the next one. So once again, 37 degrees. However, this time our hypotenuse is still here. Over here, this would be our opposite. So O and H, if we look, that's sine. So sine of 37 divided by 1, that would equal O over H, so y over 10. We cross multiply, we're going to get y equals 10 times the sine of 37. So I come over here, 10 times the sine of 37, close it, hit enter, and there we go. Our answer, if we round to 2 decimal places, y is going to equal 6.02. And that is the length of this side. And we know that's true because anytime the hypotenuse is 10, it's a right angle with 37 degrees here. The only way that's possible is if this has a length of 6.02. Okay, so on to the next one. We got 2 more to do today. So our next one. Once again, it's important to label them correctly. Okay, so here's 36. A, adjacent, would be 4. X is going to be our O. So we have an O and an A. So we look up here, O and A, that's tangent or TOA. So we know that the tangent of 36 over 1 TOA equals O, which is x, over A. We cross multiply, we'll get x equals 4 times the tangent of 36. And we want to know what x equals. So we come over here. We just do, oops, I'm on the wrong one. So 4 times tangent of 36, close it, hit enter. And as you can see, we get our answer of 2.91 when we round it. All right, we're just about done. The final one here. Once again, you always start at whatever angle is. Now we have an x and an 8. X would be opposite. The 8 would be our hypotenuse, O and H. So SOHCAHTOA, so, sine. So sine of 65 over 1 equals O over H, x over 8. We cross multiply, we get x equals 8 times sine of 65. So we want to know what x equals. Come back over here. 8 times the sine of 65. Hit enter, and we get 7.25 when we round to 2 decimal places. All right, so today there is a brief It's Learning assignment just to show you kind of know what's going on. If you need help, continue to work on this, continue to practice, and be sure to ask me any questions. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.